How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Continuing on the artist series, I have with me Beyond the Veil. Say hi, everyone.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going?
Today, I have Adam, Jimmy, and Michael of Beyond the Veil. Beyond the Veil is a band that takes inspiration on horror themes and draws inspiration from Lovecraftian-inspired game Bloodborne, including members internationally. The group released their debut album, Hunter's Fate, in late last year. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Good to hear you guys. I was glad to be a part of the group that, sort of where I heard from you and diving into who you are. It was interesting, all the things that I found along the way, including your inspiration for Bloodborne. So with all of you, it's a very specific line of writing. Are all of you Bloodborne? Are you all of you gamers, I guess? Have you all played Bloodborne?
So to be fair, I think it's mostly like between me and Adam. So Jimmy's
Gotcha.
kind of staying out of it for the most part. I'm not sure like when the time was when we kind of settled like on using Bloodborne as the theme for most of the lyrics. I think I kind of pushed for it because writing lyrics, I just find it much easier having like some framework to work within rather than just starting from scratch every time or kind of rehashing the usual like cliches and stereotypes and whatnot. So on one hand, it's a way of just helping me write. On the other hand, I think it's kind of new and novel and also very interesting if you look into the lore. So
Sure.
I just kind of did it for the first song and then just stuck with it, I guess, for the rest.
So with the lyrics, that's certainly a direction that it takes. Is there any sort of inspiration or cohesion on that same front with the rest of the writing? So like with the production, drums, guitars, bass, all that stuff?
Yeah, definitely. When we write with specific focus towards, heavy as we can make it, but horror as well. And the game just ties in perfectly to that theme, and we looked at add ambience and various things to fit with what goes well with that.
That's cool to hear. In the scope of that, I like Lovecraftian inspired things. Tell me a bit about the album that came out late last year. We're pretty close to the release, not too far removed. What were some of the things that you were immediately excited about, and some of the things that you're still getting excited about as we move further and further away from your debut?
I mean, it was cool just to hear the idea of horrorcore come to fruition for me personally, and it was just it started as an idea of like, let's combine all these genres of metal, like death metal, black and stuff, and let's throw this horror twist into it. Let's emphasize the things that scare people. And it came out really well. I was excited about it, and we're continuing to push that with our new stuff that we have coming out.
Yeah, we had a few I guess like bumps along the road when we first started. We were still trying to kind of craft what we were going for, and then once we finally found that sound that we agreed upon and really enjoyed, then it started flowing from there.
It's pretty cool because you can kind of, with the last EP, you can kind of hear the development along the way. So you can hear how Covenant, that's the first song we did together, is a bit more straightforward. And then, as the EP gets along, it gets weirder and heavier, but it still kind of works. And that's what I found so super exciting, because between Jimmy and Adam, they figured out a way to make it work, which is super weird. Like if you listen to Maria's Nightmare, for example, it starts off, it's kind of like a black metal song with a synth, like old, like old, classic Melodeath sort of stuff, the Scandinavian influence, Old Man's Child and stuff like that. And then it gets, pretty straight, deathcore stuff, then another thing happens. So whenever his thing, that riff's kind of getting boring. It's not just changing riffs; it's just changes genres completely. It goes off to like something completely different, but it still works. It's cohesive. It's fun to listen end to end.
Sure.
So it's super exciting.
So speaking of trying to find your sound, throughout the process, from when you all linked up, what did the sound start off as, and how did it become what eventually comes out on the EP?
Well, we did in the beginning. I guess me and Adam were trying to do like more of a straightforward deathcore type of thing with like horror influences, and then we experimented with like more electronic elements, and but it wasn't like cohesive to all together. And then when we finally made Covenant is where we kind of were able to combine all those things, but make it sound like one cohesive type of sound instead of a bunch of different things thrown together into one song when we were still trying to figure it out.
So I have one question about your social media. So the Instagram particularly, so it's not that these are inactive pages. They're very much up on, links to go to and stuff like that. But aside from that, they're a little, for lack of a better way of saying it, faceless. Like aside from this meeting, I didn't know what any of you looked like. I don't know if that matters to you, but was that intentional? Like, is that kind of the direction you picked for your social medias, for your presence?
It's sort of, I don't know, just is what it is.
We didn't exactly talk about it, right?
Yeah. We just sort of go with whatever. I like to do personally with any pictures of like, masked up, blood everywhere, shit like that. Like I'm not, you're not gonna catch me smiling, holding my guitar up like I'm some 80s rock star or something. But
yeah, and to be honest, I still think I've only ever seen Adam's face one time, and it was by accident.
I see.
But yeah, so we kind of come up with like an art concept for each song, and then as we release it to social media, we kind of focus on that aspect of it to try to make it like, this is what's coming, this is the next thing, this is the art to kind of focus on. I don't think we really talked about like showing our faces or anything like that. It just never really came up. It's just kind of the direction we went with it, is the music and the artwork.
Being multi-continent too presents its challenges with that as well. We can't all just meet up and get a group picture all the time.
One thing that you said, Jimmy, that when it comes to a song, you sort of think up a concept and build around that. There's been a release of singles, and then obviously you have The Hunter's Fate. Did The Hunter's Fate, with it being more than just one song, does it feel more cohesive to you, or did those three songs together give any sort of meaning, or did it just happen to be you decided to release these songs together instead of just three more singles, for example?
Well, I think once Michael joined and the direction of the lyrics became what they were, and the concept kind of came, we wanted to put at least the songs together into one kind of cohesive piece of music we could put out there. We're still continuing with the same themes because it's been going well. We enjoy it. And, I don't, like they said, I haven't personally played the game, so I learn about the lore for each song as it comes out. So that's where I get to kind of dive in and figure out what they're talking about and get my own ideas for it.
If you listen to The Hunter's Fate, it's kind of all tied to the idea of the hunter in Bloodborne, which is the one who hunts the nightmares or hunts the other hunters. And each of those sort of builds off of that theme a little bit.
So speaking of, finding Bloodborne as sort of the direction, or at least inspiration, linking up with people internationally isn't impossible, but finding people you really have some cohesion with, have some chemistry with, is more difficult. Finding a centralized idea, I would say, probably even more difficult. So let's start from the beginning, I guess. How did Adam and Jimmy link up? How did Michael join the mix? And then how did you all decide that this is where you were going with it? How did you end up on horrorcore?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all actually met on Facebook through various groups, recording groups, metal groups, people looking to do stuff. We all started just, I think it was Jimmy that started with, he was looking to do something. Then I replied, and he and I started messing around with some stuff, and it was going really well. We looked in another group on Facebook, and Michael replied, and he joined, and since he's joined, it's been going really well for us. Just it works, sort of. We use social media, I guess, to find each other.
Yeah, that was quite a happy accident, I think. It was, I think, more a metal songwriter or something, one of the groups, and the boys just posted, that they were looking for a singer to send in for one of the songs. I immediately loved it, just recorded something like top of my head, and it kind of clicked. It worked. So, on one hand, you think like it's quite unlikely to meet people on social media, and especially musicians that you're gonna work with and can collaborate easily. But on the other hand, I mean, I've been in local bands for a couple of decades at this point, and I'll tell you that sometimes it's easier to find people that you click with on the World Wide Web rather than finding like try and go find me a drummer for my Brutal Death project. Like, sure. not happening.
That's certainly fair. I think the internet has given us some leeway in that regard.
Yeah, we kind of just put together a Facebook group message, with us three in it, and we would share ideas like that, and that's where everything where everything happens. If we need to flesh out an idea or need to talk about something, we all kind of go in there. Sometimes they go off on a tangent about Bloodborne, and I'll wait until they're done or whatever, and read back later, see what they're talking about.
And then Jimmy would be joining. Did I miss anything? Nah.
Yeah.
Just these 400 messages, nerding out about lore or something.
You all have gained a fair bit of praise and media coverage internationally. Tell me about how that's started, because when I was going through a bit of research, it's not just one article of like a press release that I was given. You had several websites, again, internationally. So you had Spanish website that I looked into a fair bit. How did all that get started?
Yeah, that's yes, we worked with a couple people. We worked with Collapse Agency for a while. They were helping us out in South America. We did a lot of just putting ourselves out there, throwing in, hey, check this out, and people started to dig it. So all kinds of word of mouth helped, and anywhere where we can find an avenue to put it out, we would put it out. And people started digging it and picking it up. And
awesome.
I think the internet and modern journalism just has a life of its own, and once someone puts something out there, if it's good enough and interesting enough, just people start to notice, and then they'll write and post themselves. Also, part of it is that it's really is. I truly believe that it is a novel thing that we're doing. It's quite different from anything I've heard from any band before. Which is probably also part of it, because it's not your typical deathcore stuff that people are tired of hearing, and that has been done before like a million times. So that makes it just more interesting to listen to, and also to write worthy.
Aside from obviously your sound being worth the praise and earning it and stuff, what is it that you all think you're doing differently, or that you're not seeing other bands do?
I wouldn't say that they're missing anything. It's just that we're doing things different. We're just sort of blending everything that we enjoy into one thing, and we're just, like I said, we're really pushing the horror thing. Like, we want to, if we scare you with something, that's good. You know, like if you listen to it and you get chills like you do when you hear this bomb 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 and horror, that's fucking awesome. That's what we're going for. You know,
Yeah.
it's more like an amalgamation of everything that
Gotcha.
we're doing. It's not that anyone else is missing anything. It's just we're pushing further.
Okay, cool. Michael and Adam obviously have a pretty easy avenue into, that one specific thing with like Lovecraftian inspired horrorcore. Jimmy, what does horror sound like when it comes to drums?
Well, as far as the drums, I always want them to cut through and be huge. I mean, that's when you think of horror, you kind of think of the more like tribally sounds, deep drums that are coming up. So we try to use kind of wouldn't call it like more like epic sounding drums and stuff like that. You want it to kind of hit you in the chest. So I just want them to sound brutal. That's what's scary to most people, something that's brutal. So it's got to match the energy of the song, which is we're going for brutal and horror, and then also to tie in with the theme. So there's got to be, some space in there too. So when it hits you again, it hits you in the chest again.
One of the things I think of when I think of horror is suspense, and is probably most prevalent to me when it comes to those horror movies, games, etc. Is like you were just talking about, the kind of space that is left in all that, in combination with the big reveal, what is actually out to get you. Tell me a bit about the themes that you picked over from the album, the most recent releases. Tell me what's coming up that's different from what you've already done.
Well, if you listen to the songs, like every release, like from song to song, I think they're I'm pretty sure like the new one coming up is the most convoluted in terms of instrumentation, like that for sure. So more layer, more stuff, more suspense, more synth.
Okay.
Jimmy recorded some like fucking Gregorian monk sort of singing.
Right.
Yeah, sounds sick.
That's pretty sick. So just more of everything. And I also think that Adam is like way too eager to experiment with more odd time signatures and more complicated, like just more intricate guitar work and stuff. So I think it's not necessarily like doing more of something. It's just doing a little bit different and being open to experimentation and just trying new things. And I think that's what sets us apart a little bit, because it's quite rare that bands surely every musician takes his own influences and carries them over into his music, but most bands still kind of very much stick to a single genre.
Sure.
And it's quite rare that the music ends up being like truly diverse. I think one of the good examples of bands that actually do that and go all out bonkers is Necrogoblicon.
Okay.
This band will take a fucking recorder to a metal song, and they don't give a crap. So I think it's quite nice and fresh and just different.
What that you have pulled from in any of these songs, in any of your catalog, would we be most surprised to hear that was a source of inspiration?
That there will be one in the next song coming out, Moon the Servitude, that will catch you. It's for the existing ones. That's
okay. Are you able to? So I know it's in the future. Would you be able to share the inspiration that we would be surprised about?
Yeah, a little bit. Nursery rhymes
Gotcha.
tend to scare people, children, and horror scare people a lot. We sort of toy around a little bit. You mentioned the Gregorian chants and stuff.
Yeah.
Give you a little avenue where we're going with it. I think when does it release? End of May, mid-May?
Yeah, I think mid-May.
Mid-May? Yeah, I can't remember the exact date. It'll be posted on all our socials there.
Okay, awesome. What does a release look like? What are you doing before the song release, and what are you doing to support the release afterwards?
I mean, so like I said, we plan out the artwork, we get that all taken care of. We always have a lyric video ready to go to release on the same day of the release. That drops the same exact time, so people can follow along. You get the sense of the theme, you get the visual of it, and you can actually follow along with the lyrics, because I think one of the things that's different about us, I guess, compared to other things in this genre is the lyrics actually tell a story. I mean, that's basically what we're doing. And I would say not every band in this genre quite matter. It's just the difference that are made, more than anything else. So we like to support it with an actual lyric video, so all the theme tied together and you get one cohesive thing. So that's some of the things we do.
I don't know if this means anything or if this was just something funny that jumped out to me, but what the fuck is up, Denny's? It's just something that was on your profile and I thought was funny.
Yeah. I was fucking one day. That's all it was. Yeah, you ever see that hardcore show that was in a Denny's? The one time Denny's had a hardcore show, the guy comes out and is like, "What the fuck is up, Dennis?" So, I was messing around one day and I threw it up.
Okay, awesome.
Because I thought it'd be fun. That's all.
Yeah, all right, that's cool. I like seeing a bit of that, and hearing what the band is about, having some fun. What are some of the things that you're all that individually? This doesn't have to have anything to do with Beyond the Veil, but what are some of the things that you all are excited about or geeking out about these days?
Well, I'm in AI and computer science and like large IT. So I'm personally have been on a trip with excited about ChatGPT because I can't wait for it to replace all of us and write all our lyrics, compose the songs, and all we need to do is press release. But I fear it's not going to happen in the years to come.
Very exciting time for you.
Yeah, those two have similar backgrounds as far as like jobs and stuff like that. Gotcha. So they can like nerd out about stuff that I have no idea what they're talking about for like a while.
Which is also, I think, one of the reasons why this remote collab thing can work out as well as it does, because at least like the two of us in computer science at least are pretty used to working remotely, collaborating with people, messaging back and forth. So not your traditional bunch of musicians that just need to meet up in the rehearsal space every week and get wasted, and only then we'll be able to kind of talk things out and write music.
Sure.
So it takes a specific type of person, I think, to be able to even like collaborate remotely. I've had like both types of musicians in my past projects and my current bands actually. So I've been with people that where a band can only create new songs and write stuff while staying together in the same room, sort of thing, and basically jamming. And I've been in projects where we get a send back and forth. I used to play guitar, and the way I co-wrote most of my songs in one of my bands was we just sent guitar tabs back and forth until eventually a song came into place.
Right.
So there's definitely different types of people.
I mean, I'm currently a over-the-road truck driver.
Yeah.
So working remotely is really the only way I could do it right now. So I'm excited about, I'm switching jobs and going to be home more, mostly every day. So I can actually work out of my house in the studio space that I have set up, instead of trying to set up in the back of my truck and come up with stuff that way while I have, my 10-hour break or whatever it is. So
right. Okay.
I'm more excited about spending some more time at home and being able to concentrate and work on music more than I currently am.
Yeah, so with an international project, obviously there's some gives and some takes from it. What are sort of concessions that you've had to make with an international project? I believe, because I have a friend in the Netherlands, and that time gap is the smallest of the time gap I have with my international friends. what is it like working with someone that I think it at minimum is a 6-hour time gap, depending on where you live?
We don't really have many issues with that, with the way we communicate. We sort of all just talk and answer when we can, and things go back and forth. And we do it with the understanding that there's a gap, and you're not going to get an answer right away. So it's patience, I guess, would be our biggest thing. But that's we're all cool with that. So yeah, I mean, we don't really. We don't have any issues with that, really. I guess just sort of somebody does something, they post it, when someone else gets to it, they get to it and say, this is cool. This needs a little tweak. Let's do something else here. Back and forth we go until we have something fleshed out and ready to roll out.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have to say, like our only first challenge has been like trying to schedule this meeting here, because for me, it's obviously like it's half 12 over here in Germany, so quite late,
right?
Which is fine. But it's the only issue really, because even a 6-hour time gap is not that problematic most of the time. It's still more than enough time to have a couple of hours to chat and have meetings or calls or whatnot if you need to. At least me, I'm kind of used to it, because quite a few of my customers are in the US anyway, so I'm used to having calls like 5, 6 or something in the afternoon, because that's the time that typically have in the morning. And what you might not be aware of is that Adam and Jimmy are also like way apart, so it's not just a couple of hours between me, it's a couple of hours between those two as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in California. Adam is on the East Coast, and then Michael's in Germany. Right. So we're all over the place. So usually, when they're asleep, I'm awake, or if I post something that, needs to be done, or we have ideas. Like I said, we just get to it when the person needs to get to it. And then we post it in the group, and then everybody, gives their feedback, and then it gets fleshed out. It gets tweaked until we're all happy, 100% happy with it. And then that's when it's finished.
Well, thanks, gentlemen. What is there anything you want to talk up? Like you said, you have a release coming up. Anything you want us to pay attention to or keep an eye on? Where can we find you?
Well, obviously we're gonna tease all of it on our socials anyway. So hopefully you subscribe, follow, and will not miss anything. I'm pretty excited about this one. It's pretty much like the old one. It's one step up from anything we've done before. It's another quite banger, I think. So you're definitely gonna enjoy that one if you enjoyed the couple of songs before. And we'll soon probably will start working on the next one. I think Jimmy posted some drum work the other day. So Adam is always excited about trying new and weird stuff out.
Yeah,
he's been actually jumping back into lessons as of recently, and he keeps coming back with, well, I learned this new thing today. I definitely need to try that.
Yeah, we got that one coming up. We'll have some teaser clips and stuff like that coming out fairly soon. So keep an eye out for that. Like you said, subscribe and you won't miss a thing. And then we have a few things in the works. So the next one shouldn't be too far behind this one. We try to keep it coming as time allows, and we're actually happy with the finished product. We're not just pumping something out to pump something out. We put it out when it's ready.
Gotcha.
Definitely like quality over quantity all day.
For sure. Well, thank you, gentlemen. We're running up on our time, so thanks for joining me. I am excited to hear the next release. It's more epic and scarier, and it's going to scare the shit out of me. I look forward to it.
Yeah, we will.
Gentlemen,
Thank you.
Thank you.